That was the thing about humans. They are so weird. It isn't their weird pink skin that is sometimes black or red. It isn't the fact that they are sometimes tiny and sometimes tower over us. It isn't even that they have only two eyes that only face in one direction. It is that they make absolutely no sense at all. I looked out over the soldiers that sat near the fire. It was a small comfort on this dark world. It spun so slow that the days were more like seasons. During the sun's spin, the night's ice melted and gave birth to a radiant jungle filled with more life than could ever be categorized in 100 lifetimes, which sank into a summer of frenzy and reproduction. The sunset's last rays kissed the land made barren for want of water. The old growth turned to dust and ash. The bones of the recently living protecting the eggs and seeds that would hibernate through the long night and wait for the dawn. We were in the start of the night. If you squinted just right, you could almost make out the horizon against the blackness of space and the stars beyond. Our mission was to protect the humans and keep them alive, a task that really wasn't that difficult. Well, no, it was extremely difficult. These damned humans didn't seem to understand the basic mechanics of another planet. If it moves, it might kill you. If it charges you, it probably will kill you. Their insistence on touching every fucking thing, gods above and below. I once saw a human on Earth riding a giant lizard. Other humans had gathered around to watch. This lizard was called a crocodile, and according to the human riding it, was a direct descendant to a creature that had survived for over 65 million years. And he was fucking riding it. It had more pointed teeth than a zebra, and he was riding it. That's not why they are weird, though. No, remember when I said they make no sense? They don't. Do you know how humans first came into contact with us? Kind of a history lesson, I know. They were testing out a new ship design. It exploded, and they thought it was gone forever, and instead somehow blew a hole through space-time and ended up less than half a light year from us. These morons. These weird space monkeys accidentally discovered faster than light quantum mechanics and got lucky enough to end up near another planet with a species capable to FTL. Do you know how monumentally bad those odds are? Most species take at least another 5 centuries to get that far. But no, humans had to be weird. Anyways, back to history. So, they show up and we save them and notice that they are in fact delicious. So, what do? We pack up the whole fucking armada and go for takeout. Did you know that humans worship war? They do. Actually, they worship war and irony. They'll never admit it, but from birth they are formulated with conflict. Their movies are saturated with heroes and warriors. Comics, music, media of every kind has a hero for them. Has a villain, has a reason to fight and win, and by the gods above and below, they are weird. Heroes in spandex with ridicule's powers. Soldiers who travel through time to stop time-traveling robots from breaking the fourth fucking wall or something. I'll be honest, I didn't really watch that one. But seriously, they have religions around gods of war. They are fucking insane. But the best part is that they seek peace. They simply want to expand and grow and learn and be curious and sate that curiosity. But we kind of fucked that up. Remember the part where we went for takeout? Turns out humans share just one major characteristic with the rest of the civilized galaxy. They don't like being eaten. We came into their solar system. Thousands of ships, hundreds of thousands of fighters, a 1 million-strong army waiting in cryo to drop down and begin to cull the herd. They worshipped gods of war. We were so fucked. Within hours of our entry into their territory, we realized we had fucked up. You know how our sun is a beautiful red? It's old, very old. It's dying, and in a few 100 million years, it will consume our home, just like most of the other planets in our cluster. We live in the middle of the spiral where the stars are warm and close. They live on the raggedy edge. Theirs is yellow. A fucking baby star. That much radiation should have blasted all life out of the entire system. But these creatures, these fucking cave monkeys, they thrived. They sit out in the sun just to soak up that stuff. So fucking weird. Oh, right there. That right there. Fucking, it's a word you all have picked up since you met the humans. They use it in anger. They use it in love. They flirt with it and insult with it, and it can mean everything and nothing, and dear gods above and below, it makes no fucking sense. But as soon as you say it, it makes perfect sense. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where was I? The sun. We had to move slow and overlap shields. It was the only way to keep them strong enough to approach through that radiation. Guess who didn't have that problem? We had to combine our weapons to punch through their shields. It would take 4 or 5 coordinated shots to punch through just to scratch their armor. Yay, you heard me. Their armor, because their sun is yellow. Just in case their shields fell, they wanted to feel safe in an armored spacecraft. And because as of yet I haven't found a human who could defy the laws of physics, though I do not doubt that some are currently trying. Armor means mass. Mass means energy to move through space. Means engines. But don't forget the shields. This means something needs to power all that mass moving through space, shielded to protect from a yellow fucking sun. And don't forget, they worship the gods of war. They are always fighting, killing each other. One faction exploring a new area, making a kingdom and going to war with his neighbor. Building an empire to fight another empire which will take over another. You get my meaning. They are always fighting, growing, expanding, and we caught them in the middle of yet another genital measuring contest. They were fighting because humans see everything as a them and us. Either you are with them or with us. And if you are not with us, then you are with them, and I should kill you. I know. I don't get it either. But they were divided. Until suddenly they saw us, and we were not them. I think humanity as a whole breathed a sigh of relief. Then they attacked. Do you know what they did? In the first engagement, as if there was a second, we met them around one of their Jovian planets. The one with the rings. They strapped thousands of bombs to the ring bits. They put engines on those rocks and launched fucking rocks. Chemical rockets, if you can believe that. The rocks came towards us, obviously sent and easy to dodge. We didn't even need to break formation. A pathetic attempt to fight. Then the bombs blew, and what was hundreds or thousands of rocks became a wall of radioactive dust. Remember, they have a yellow sun. Their sensors were crafted to look through so many spectrums we hadn't even conceived of. They thought they were just physically hiding themselves, which they did, but we had no idea where they were. By the time the first reports of ships not coming back came in, we knew we had fucked up. They hunted us through that dust cloud. For every 6 of ours, we took one of theirs, and they worship war. Our thousands of ships against their hundreds, and they hunted us like it was a sport. Do you know that military doctrine says that if you lose 10% of your force, your army is decimated? If you lose up to 15%, your soldiers are likely to break and run. I haven't yet figured out the word for it, but they stopped shooting when we had only 10% left. I think they felt sorry for us. How messed up is that? We were going to eat them, and they felt bad for us. They sent what was left back home, keeping the ships that couldn't move or were too far damaged to be useful as the spoils of war. We didn't wish them ill. We wished we would never see them again. Do you know what they did? The empires made peace. They married their offspring to each other, and we had done what the humans had never been able to accomplish. They were united. I think the galaxy as a whole broke out into a sweat. But the end of this little story is, humans are weird. Remember when the Zybri attacked us? The loss of the Grand Armada was a crippling blow. But the insult that a race barely capable of FTL could grind us down so inspired many races to try for something they wouldn't have dared before. The Zybri were the prime offenders. They thought we were delicious. We sent emissaries all over to the civilized planets. The first one to respond was the humans. They sent aid for our people, our sick and hurt. They sent doctors who on the fly had to learn about xenobiological medicine on living creatures. We didn't learn until later that they had been mostly the morgue doctors who examined our dead. They sent their navy. They had had years to study our tech, to forge it with their own, making a once very dangerous fleet of ships into the most awe-and-pants-shitting, terrifying fleet of destruction I have ever witnessed. Not a single Zybri ship made it out of the system. They boarded the ships and recovered our people. I had never considered wrapping myself in metal armor and powering the damn thing with a fusion battery before, because I'm not an insane human from a planet that has a yellow sun. But they did. They couldn't recover everyone, but they recovered enough. They even gave us the Zybri fleet to help us rebuild the one they destroyed. Nice guys. See, that's what's so weird about them. We needed help, and they came. We were no longer a them. We had become the S. That was over 100 years ago, maybe more, but it sounds better to say it like that. We have done what we can to keep the humans from harm, and they do the same for us. We are grateful for that protection, and the galaxy as a whole is grateful that we make sure no harm comes to the humans. Right now, they are worshipping the irony of peace. No one wants to see them when they return to their god of war.